slip into them quickly so that you can now give them their part and move back and be like it's shifting gears. And you know you'll take out the pauses and the problems later, but you still want to be efficient. So most VA work is core voice. You know, that you want to just get good at expressing yourself. You don't have to get to a point where you think your voice is some kind of like special thing. You just have to get to a point where you're okay with your voice and go, let me tell you about something. I think this solves your problem. And then that's a commercial. Yeah. All right. Very, very heavy armed.
How do you find an agent as a starter? And
Yes. So there's a great resource online for Albertans called ACTRA. ACTRA is the Film and Television Union for our country. It's affiliated with SAG-AFTRA in the States, but ACTRA Alberta has a website and it lists on it who they have been able to quantify as legitimate agents. Now that list might be 8, 12, or 15 agents long. Some of the more prestigious ones like Degas and The Characters are really hard to get into. They've been around a long time, they have a certain notoriety. They don't just open their doors and say, who are you? We don't know you, we'd love to represent you. You need to get to a point of value for yourself where you can pitch yourself and say, I've been doing this is the type of work I have done or can do, and I'll prove my value rather than, hi, I'd really like to be represented and helped. They're like, well, we don't really have time. But there's a lot of agents that are more in the mid to newer terrain that might have more of an open door policy for people that maybe want to do extra work in film or just like start getting to know the industry a little bit, and they can say, okay, well, we can at least connect you with the entry level points. And then as your star meter rises, you can use that value to go maybe to agents that you've been wanting to, like in a 1, 3, and 5 year plan. I recently signed with a new agent after 20 years that allowed me representation not just here, but an office in Vancouver and Toronto to help me be a bit more, again, considered for product that I wasn't going to be able to consider for just with a local agent. So it can take the time that it takes to build yourself up, but always know that you're your agent first. You're the one that's going to believe in yourself, nurture and support your growth, and then hopefully find enough value to start saying to other people, I'm valuable, but I could use some assistance or partnership to get to the next level. But ACTRA Alberta, yeah, they've done the work for you. We've talked, so I'm going to have to go to people we haven't talked with for a bit. Yes. Yes, and then you.
I'm not sure if you've already focused because I came in late, my apologies.
Okay.
But when you're doing voices for different characters, do you have any tips to reduce the strain for when you're doing voices for characters like a completely different voice?
For sure. So obviously a big part is that, you know, our vocal cords are very delicate, and so the more that we're pinching at the throat, the harder it is. If you see singers and their throat is really vast, like veiny and quite tense all the time, those tend to be the ones, bye Mike, those tend to be the ones that are going to cause fatigue and damage. You know, so when people are talking about getting scopes to check for nodes and scar tissue, it's usually because of all that pressure that they've been continually damaging that area. So with regards to like keeping our body as safe as we can, powers from the shoulders down, so typically diaphragmatic breath, right, all of that nice power that's below us, and certainly, you know, if you're fighting like in a Dragon Ball show and you're doing your, you know, for me, like more of the basement gravelly textured thing, no matter how good I am at that, after a few hours, especially, you know, with big build-ups and big death scenes, there's gonna be some damage and it really sucks. Like, we have to be careful. But you can do things to, like a singer, strengthen the rest of your vessel. Remember, it starts with breath. Remember, your power is from the shoulders down. And when you're noticing pinch here, I get it at the base of my skull, where my neck and skull meet, because I tend to, and then I have to remind myself, hey, this is you getting in your way. You have to get back into body mechanics that are going to work for you. Starfish stance, everything's loose and flowing. And if you need to yell, remember that you yell from here, not from here.
Sort of branching off of that, how do you keep your voice at the same level? Like, if you were doing Hisoka's voice, how do you not accidentally have it higher or lower than it's usually is?
Well, one of the nice things is that in the recorded medium, they just play you your voice ref, or they play you the lines before as many times as they need. And then it's that parroting thing we were talking about. You just like, you listen, you mimic, you listen, you mimic, and you're like, okay, I'm back on voice. And a lot of times what they'll do is they'll keep episode 1 as your voice ref. And so they'll just grab, like, here's where we started. Remember where we started? And obviously that's imperfect, because if you ever watched season 1, episode 1 of The Simpsons, you're like, whoa, where did that start? And because as we have time with the character, certainly things develop. But when we get back to the core of the character, then we can hopefully step back into what's needed now and represent it that much more. With self-directed, it's harder. Like if you don't have a critical ear yet, if you can't listen to yourself with kindness and criticism and go, that's not it anymore, you might just get so wrapped up in the emotions and energies of the work that, sure, you'll be off voice, and you might get pickups for some or lots. But how do you just stay? Like anything, it's going to have to be a part of what you pay attention to and a part of what you nurture within yourself. That some people will make a little character card, digital or analog, and it'll kind of remind them, where's the vocal placement? Why? You know, if there's a different posture for the character and you're not doing it, then it's going to be a part of what's pulling you off. So, you know, if that character has a different posture and different placement than you, then it's really helpful to have those.
I know I'll never be the same. Shook my world so hard again. Wish I washed away my sins. He's a dead man walking, blank stare in his eyes. Should have given up on the ones I trust. Never should have been surprised when they shot him down. Cold blood to the ground.